Today, I'm going to be talking through a process which anyone can do, including your virtual assistant, to allow you to emulate any marketing funnel, including every web page or landing page, every email, or the copywriting, and without needing any technical expertise or marketing strategy skills or anything other than yourself, your computer, or if you have an assistant, then get them to do this for you. This is mind-blowing stuff. It combines some cheeky tricks to emulate your idols and influencers in the marketplace alongside some clever AI tools. Let's go. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a strategy that I've used for quite some time to help me think about my marketing strategy in terms of what I'm going to get people to click on, where they're going to go next, what I should be saying to them, the kind of stuff they should be getting from me in terms of emails and copy, etc., etc. So all of that borrowing the best ideas from the people that you follow and you love to read their stuff and creating that your own. So I'm going to talk about that stuff, which I've done for a long time. But I'm going to combine that with some tricks that I've been looking at more recently since I'm becoming much more aware of the capabilities of some amazing AI tools that really take this stuff to the next level. Now, if you're recently started in business, or maybe you're establishing business and you've not got a massive marketing team behind you, you haven't got copywriters and graphic designers and web developers and marketing strategists, and I fall into that category. I don't have all of those people. I've tried and dabbled with stuff over the years, but nothing really consistent. And I've got myself, I know what I know, and I've got a team of capable people, but we don't really have all those other skills readily available in the company with enough capacity to be able to create the stuff that I wanted, I dream of every single day. And so I needed to find, especially when I was starting out, ways of sort of tricking the system or hacking the system to be able to actually get some of this done, some of these ideas, and actually create something usable that we actually can put out to the world without having to have all that fancy stuff. And only really today do I really think it is truly possible that you can actually do this with zero experience in web development, or very little like technical skills at all. With no graphic design skills, with no copywriting skills really, and with no marketing strategy background. And today I'm going to walk you through this process. And this is not about copying, just to be clear here. I don't think at all you should use what I'm going to tell you today, go onto someone else's site, copy their entire site, leave it as it is, not change any copy, and then push it out as your own and just put your own logo on it. That is copyright infringement. It is not what I'm talking about here. This is about using the fact that these bigger companies, these more successful companies, have hopefully done a lot of split testing. They've tried things out. They've got the design of the site right, the location of the buttons, the types of wording that they're using, the things they're calling people out, the pain points, etc. They've got all that nailed. And then what you're going to do is to take that and then make it your own with as little work as possible. So you're still going to be updating some stuff, but you're not personally going to be doing it. You can get an assistant to do this, and we're going to use some AI tools to make this super easy. But the fact is here, you're borrowing from some of the better companies out there, and then you're making it your own in as quick a time as possible. And we're not just talking about here about getting a landing page and copying it into a WordPress site, although that is part of this. But what we're actually talking about is the entire marketing funnel. So when you download a freebie, whether it's a PDF or a cheat sheet or a checklist or a video guide or sign up for a newsletter, like there's a whole ecosystem that goes behind that to take you from being, a lead that's just basically given that company your email address to actually you becoming a buying customer. And what we want to do is to see how all that maps out so you can actually borrow the best practices and then put them into your business. And again, without having to be a copywriter or a web developer or a graphic designer or any of that malarkey. And so this is how I do it. I'm going to start by the simple capturing the strategy. And then I'm going to talk about actually implementing this and actually using AI tools to speed up this process and reduce costs massively so that any assistant can do this for you, or you can do it yourself if you don't already have an assistant. So first off with the strategy. So what I'm saying here, what I'm talking about here is how do you capture everything that's going on when you click on something, you put your email address, and then you get taken through a series of landing pages, maybe to opt in, to buy something. They get sent a bunch of emails and a bunch of other emails. You click on those links, it takes you to new pages. Like, how do you capture all that? How do you get all that down? Because that basically is the marketing strategy or campaign for that particular lead magnet, which will take you eventually to a product to purchase or to book a call or whatever the end call to action is of that marketing ecosystem. And so this is probably, when you've heard this, simpler than you thought it might be, but it's just this simple strategy of capturing everything in a really organized and systemized way. And once you've done this a few times, you can actually get someone else to do this for you. And we have an entire system built around how we basically give a operation manual, a system for getting our team to actually do this entire process for us. So this is the kind of thing you can build out, or you can reach out to us if you want to find out more. And so here we're going to basically decide, okay, there's a company that I'm interested in the product that they offer, and I want to see how they're going to get me to actually buy it. I want to, it's something that I like the look of the site. Maybe it's a influencer that I follow. I'm interested in, I just like the tone of their language. I like the way they present their pages. I like what they're talking about, and I want to copy it in inverted commas. I want to emulate what they're doing and bring insert my freebies and lead magnets or whatever, which you can still emulate from some of the influencers that you might follow as well, if they're in the same industry as you. Not copy, emulate, just to be clear. And then you're going to basically be able to recreate the whole thing from scratch in really a matter of minutes, especially if you get someone else to do this for you. And so here we're going to use a tool, so for a diagramming tool. So I use Lucidchart. It is a paid for app. There are other things like draw.io, which is a app by Google. You basically want something where you can create a flow chart. That's what we're going to create, but we're not going to use it for sort of flow charting in the geeky sense. We're going to do this with some really cool stuff, and it's super simple to do. So find the landing page, like the page where you put your registration details in, and then copy that URL and send that to your assistant, and then get them to do the rest of the process, or just do this yourself just to see how easy it really is to do. And maybe you can then give your assistant, this is what we do, we give them this is what it all should look like, an end product, so they can then copy that for the next site that you want to do this for. And so you basically get your URL, you give it to your assistant, or you do this yourself. So the first thing you do is you're going to use an app called GoFullPage. So GoFullPage is a plugin for your browser. And what that allows you to do is to capture the entire page as a PDF. Now, the reason I want to do a PDF is because I want to be able to zoom in to see all the detail without losing any, without it getting all fuzzy or not be able to read the text or anything. And PDFs allow you to do that because they're called vectors. So you can go zoom in as much as you want and never lose any clarity. And also I want to be able to copy and paste the text. So highlight the text and copy it out and paste it in somewhere else as well. Now, tricks I'm going to show you a little bit later, or talk about a little bit later, I'll actually skip the need to even do that nowadays because of the tools that are available. But this is the way we used to do it, and we still do it for this reason of planning out the whole site. So we want to see how all these things link together. So we've got our first page, we've captured it with our GoFullPage app. We've got the PDF, and we're going to literally drag and drop that into our diagramming tool. And that's our starting page. That's our registration page. And then we're going to put our details in, and that's going to take us to another page. And so we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to create a PDF using GoFullPage, and we're going to put that next to our first page and put an arrow from our registration page to the next page to say we go from there. When we submit it, it clicks and goes there. If there's any other pages, any other links, you do exactly the same thing to see how the whole thing is mapped out. So you see where all the possibilities you can go from each page are, and create sort of a spider web of where all the links take you. And if there's videos, there are apps you can use to actually capture the videos and download them. You can drag and drop those onto your diagram as well and have the videos there, so you can emulate those. You can get those transcribed. You could then actually use an app to read that back in your voice after you've edited the text, so to not infringe copyright, and actually create new audio for similar videos in your own business. So there's loads of cool stuff you can do once you start mapping out some of your influencers and some of the competitors' websites. And I should have mentioned one thing here. When you register for this thing you're going to get, this lead magnet or this download or whatever it is you're going to do, or maybe you're buying a product. This is also, I do this, I actually purchase products to see the whole funnel, to see where this takes me. And often I'll be buying stuff that I ain't actually going to use, but I also want to see and emulate the actual process, the buying process, and how they're convincing me to spend more money. And I want to emulate that in my business. And so when we put this email address in, it's really, I don't want to use my main email address, because then those emails sort of get lost in the clutter of the emails. So what you can do is use whatever your email address is. So say it was steve@gmail.com. It's not, by the way, so don't try and contact me on that. But if it was, then what you can do is write Steve and then a plus sign and then any word you want and then @gmail.com. So for this example, say we were scraping Russell Brunson's, one of his funnels. So ClickFunnels funnel for getting me to sign up for ClickFunnels. And part of this process I've actually learned or reinforced by stuff I've actually done with Russell Brunson. So I'm sure he won't mind me talking about his site in this example. And so we put in the email address will be Steve plus ClickFunnels@gmail.com. So whatever your email address is, just put a plus sign at the end of the name, whatever the name of the thing you're scraping, and then whatever the @ and then your the end of your email address, whether that's a domain or a Gmail or whatever, it doesn't matter. And the reason for doing that is then that every email that they send you about this particular funnel, even if you've already registered and signed up for something else in their world, in their ecosystem, every email about this specific funnel will now go to that very special email address with the plus sign and then the name of the funnel you're scraping. And what this allows you to do is then in your email app, say Gmail or Outlook or whatever, set up a filter that then takes those email addresses automatically out of your inbox and put them into a label or a folder. So all of the emails coming from this particular funnel from the moment you've registered now go into a single folder, and you can just see them all in chronological order. And then you can add those one by one as they arrive over the coming days and weeks to your diagram that you've created, and just literally save them as a PDF and drag and drop them on, and then put the timeline. When did you get them? How many days between each one? And map out the sequence of emails with the cadence of those emails. And then also, importantly, whenever you click on a link in an email, it's going to take you to a landing page. So you repeat the process. You'll find that a lot of those emails will take you to the same landing page. So we just have the arrows pointing to the same page that you've captured using the GoFullPage app and dropped it onto your diagram, and they can all point there. So you end up with a series of landing pages. Some of them will click through from the time you register. Some of them may be completely separate, that are only accessible through the emails. And some of those will be duplicated, as in you'll be pointed or sent to the same landing pages from various emails you might get through. And you might also get text messages. You might also get Instagram probably not Instagram, but you might get Facebook messages, like depending on how sophisticated their ecosystem is. And anything that comes in, just capture it and drop it onto this diagram. And suddenly you start building out the entire marketing funnel, everything that's going on around this specific activity of you registering for that lead magnet or buying that product is now captured onto a single diagram, which you can then get, as I say, the entire marketing strategy from any company with regards to that one, obviously, product or services. There are probably lots of other stuff going on in the background or for other things. But the idea is that you're trying to capture one funnel, whatever it is you're trying to set up. And that's it. That is your strategy now mapped out. And you may feel that, you know what, this is actually really good. I want to copy this. And so back in the day, if I wanted to do this, I would get my web developer to create similar versions of the pages. I get my graphic designer to create similar versions of the lead magnet, for example. And then I would be able to then sort of build it out in our, whether using WordPress or ClickFunnels or Wix or whatever you can build out each of those pages. And that worked pretty well. And it was actually pretty quick because I wasn't having to do the web design element. I was just needing to do the web development part. So get someone to build it for me. And then I used to do a bit of copywriting and editing stuff. Now, however, with the advent of all the AI stuff available to you, that process has become incredibly easy. And that's got me really excited, and why I've decided to record this special episode today. And so what we've got now is this map of exactly sort of what's going on. And one thing I would also mention is as you're going through and you're drag and dropping your PDFs onto this to build out your marketing strategy, just copy and paste the URL of every page as you go through and put that on under each diagram, so you can click that and go back to it. And there's a reason for that, which I'm going to explain now. So now you've basically got you know what landing pages are in this funnel in every place. You now want to recreate all of those landing pages within your website builder. And there's cool tools like, for example, 10web, which allows you to paste any URL of any website, whether you own it or not, and it will then create a carbon copy of that into a WordPress site, which they host. It's all very fancy and quick. It takes about, I just did one just before this to make sure it still works and it was all going. It took me about 5 minutes. I mean, me personally, it took me about 10 seconds, but the actual app took about 5 minutes for it to then process in the background and build this out. So I went and made a cup of tea, came back, and then it was done. And so what it did was to create a literally carbon copy. The only things that didn't work on it were the links to other pages, because it only does like one page at a time in this particular example. There may be upgrades to multi-page stuff. I didn't look at that. This is just on one page. So we need to then edit the links, as we go through this process. That's why there's a little bit of technical skill, but it's just editing a URL on a hyperlink. It's not technical. Anyone to do this for you if you don't know how to do it. And there was a couple of things like this. There was a slider on this particular page with some testimonials, and those images in that slider hadn't been filled. I mean, I don't care. I don't want someone else's testimonials on my site anyway. So I'm just going to basically have to, put in either a new slider with some images, and using the app, using the 10 web app, you can just drop in a new slider element. It's super easy to do. So if you've got no technical skills, no WordPress skills at all, you could get someone to do this for you. It's literally going to take them minutes, whereas previously it would have taken hours to do something similar to the same sort of standard. And the quality of this was really good. I've used similar tools in the past where it'll copy sort of some stuff, but you don't really get the structure, and the spacing's all a bit wrong and the colors are a bit off, and this was pretty damn perfect. Like literally it was like a carbon copy. And so now you've got basically a complete copy of someone else's web page. And obviously you probably, well, you should not want to then use that or publish that and have that as your own. So what we now need to do is to just swap out some images. So if there's image of the business owner on there, just swap out for your image. If there's images which have been nicely designed, or you can go to stock images. If there's AI stock image creators which are completely copyright free, so you can just use those any way you want. They're generated by the AI. So there's stock libraries you can get. I don't have a URL to hand for one of those, but I've seen a couple come up. I've not used them yet. Or you can actually use something like DAL-E or DAL-E, which is part of the OpenAI tool, to actually create brand new images. You just tell it what you want it to draw or paint or whatever, and it'll create you a new image. Or you can upload an image and it can create some unique variations of that image. So you can even take the images that it's on your competitor's website or the influencer website, and then upload them and get them to actually create similar images which are copyright free, and you're not actually plagiarizing, and you can make it your own. And so the image side of stuff is now completely taken care of by AI as well. And now you got the copy. So you've got all the words on the page, the headlines, the call to actions, the text about what the product or service does. And if you found a competitor that's very similar to you, then you can sort of use their structure and their framework as a starting point. Obviously, hopefully you've got research into your own market, your own clients, and you want to put some of your own take on it as well, rather than just going what the AI is going to say. But some of the copy, I mean, you may just think that's pretty good. And so rather than copying it, so the copywriting, I should say, was really good. So rather than copying it, which is plagiarism, you just basically highlight the text that you want to actually change using a tool, for example, like WordTune. So WordTune is a plugin. It will then rewrite that copy for you. And you can also use ChatGPT to do the same thing. If you have an account with them, you upload the text and say, rewrite this, or just rewrite this to avoid plagiarism. There are loads of apps out there that will basically rewrite paragraphs for you, or sentences or headlines, which will then be a unique version of the text. So it's not plagiarized. It's still got the sentiment, it's still got the meaning, but it's using different words. So therefore you're free to use it. And then you can use things like ChatGPT to say, what are the keywords in this, and how do you get it more SEO rich? And there's other specific tools for doing that sort of stuff, which I've not dabbled so much with, but I know they're there because I've had a look. I just haven't had time to have a play with some of the stuff that's available. So you can get really technical with this stuff and really use AI to make this into a really, well-planned, copywritten, SEO, high SEO ranking, keyword-rich site, with just a little bit of time, with no real expertise in doing this, just with the time to actually run this through a series of different apps, or have a play with ChatGPT. You could probably do a lot of the copywriting stuff on the SEO for you as well. And the key thing is, I'm going to repeat this again, It doesn't need to be you that's doing this. You can get someone else to do this for you to start building out your lead magnets and your funnels, or your actual whole website if you choose as well. So you can also do this for split testing. So you can create variations of the same page. So once you've got your base page, create a copy of it, use the AI tools to actually change out the headline, maybe to split test it, change out some of the other text in there, split test it. So you can create multiple variations very quickly with very little expertise. So doing this process, going through this, you can really capture the whole marketing strategy behind a single funnel. Obviously, you're not getting the whole business strategy, but you're getting around a single funnel. So you've got something quite specific that you're trying to emulate, then this is an absolutely amazing way to do it. You get that whole broad picture of everything that's going on, all the emails you're getting sent, the text messages, all the web landing pages involved. You can then create carbon copies, all of those in minutes, build your own site from them, update a few links and a few images, and then use AI tools to rewrite the copy for you to your heart's content. And bang, you've basically got a marketing funnel done for you with very little in the way of technical skills needed, no real copywriting experience, graphic design, web developer skills required, just someone who's got common sense, intelligent, and slightly tech savvy could nail this in a fraction of the time taken to traditionally build out marketing funnels for all of your fancy downloads and lead magnets or whatever else you do, or in fact to recreate your entire website from scratch by using or emulating someone that you actually respect in the industry, or just maybe like the design of someone's site and you want to do that and then put your own copy on it. You can do that too. There's loads of different ways you can play around with this, and I challenge you just to go and have a go. Like use something like 10Web and just see how effective it is at creating carbon copies, and then use something like ChatGPT or WordTune to actually to create new text. So similar but completely unique text, and it's all copyright free because it's actually written uniquely for every time you actually ask the question to these AI apps. It's not something that is plagiarized or anything, and you can actually run it through plagiarized tools just to make sure if you've got any doubts about that. And that's it. So hopefully that's been helpful, giving you the insights into some of the ways that we are using systems, utilizing our assistants, reducing the need to have high expertise in some of these specific use cases, and actually just speeding up the process of getting stuff out there, of split testing stuff, and really utilizing some of these incredible AI apps to the best of their abilities. If you like this episode, then please do hit me up with a review or just a rating. 5 stars is always nice. Do subscribe to this podcast for more episodes just like this. Hit subscribe if you're on YouTube, or just give me a like and a comment if you are watching us on social media. Thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to seeing you next time.